Hello viewer, good evening, morning or afternoon depending on the time zone that you're living in. My name is Mad Alpha Max. I'm here to offer my controller setting for PlayStation 4. Might be good for PlayStation 5, I don't know, I don't have one yet, or might not have one, period, depending on the future options or the options in the future. Excuse my English. English is my second language, and this is the controls for PlayStation, including air, tank, and helicopters, or rotary engine, rotary wings. Sorry. Okay. First of all, you don't need to clear everything. Okay. You don't need to clear all the controls. Some of the controls are still default, like for instance, air brake. It's left button on the D-pad. Flaps is right button, and the landing gear deployment is um, up button on the D-pad. And we're gonna see some examples downstairs. Okay. Before you start, go to full rear controls and pick that up. Okay. Next up, control mode is none. I don't know what is that. Virtual instructor. I don't think that's feasible or usable in sim. Auto trim, not usable. Maybe in realistic, but sim, no, not. Toggle control mode, which is you switch between mouse aim, simplified, realistic, and Fourier control, but it's not working. So, yeah, it's T on the keyboard if you had a keyboard. You can put whatever you want. I just don't read like it's T. I remember the position of the key. Anywho, toggle SAS mode is Y. Then you don't need mouse wheel. You don't need that. Throttle axis. You enter if you want to pick up any axis or choose any axis for any of the axes that you had in the controls. You pick it from here. Choose joystick axis. Okay, so it's right stick, up down, especially for those on those who use props, piston engines or props. You keep value that's not no. You don't keep value. It's no. Disabled axis. Dead zone is 0. Nonlinearity is 1. Invert axis, no. Relative control is yes. You need that. So you don't hold the throttle all the way up. So it's like you put it there, it's there. Okay? So if you pick no for relative control, you need to put it's like a spring. There's a spring or uh, what do you say it? Yeah, it's a spring. It's like a spring that pushes back the throttle to 0, which is not you want it if you're maneuvering. Okay, relative control sensitivity is 50, and the control step is 0. Multiplier is 1, which is not usual. It should be like 0.85 something. Correction is 0. You push circle or back or confirm. Always you put add. You don't put replace. You don't put cancel. Always add. Okay. Next up, hold throttle for whip. I prefer not. If I want to go full afterburner, it's there for the burner. If I want it to be 101% or 100% or 98%, I want it to be at that. So you don't want to go up to 100% and hold the stick forward. That I'm saying. Okay. Roll axis, same. Choose from here. So the throttle axis is to the left stick up down. Roll axis, uh, sorry, roll axis is should be like um, left stick, left right. Throttle axis is the right stick up down, and I'll show you why, especially for the props. Okay, pitch axis, left stick up down. You see here, dead zone is 1, is point 0.1, 0.1. That's because of the A4. The new model of the A4 is so sensitive through the roll and pitch. Sometimes it's like it's not controllable. So I put that you can play with the dead zone up and down according to your preferable zone for inputs. That 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 the comfort zone, you need the comfort zone uh, in the input. So if you're maneuvering, you don't need to struggle. So you struggle in chasing someone or defending from someone. Okay, invert axis is yes. You could choose it. There's another flickable invert axis in the control downstairs. I think it's still there. Multiplier is 0.85. Correction is 0. Left stick up down. So the left stick is always pitch and roll. The rudder or yaw and the throttle is on right stick. Circle or confirm. Add. You go to the yaw. What's going on now? Yep. Right stick, left, right. Same as the throttle, but instead of front and back, it's left and right. Okay. So the same goes here. 85, which is I can aim with stuff, so I can stick for a BFM or like lag pursuit or pure pursuit or um, lead pursuit. I can control that. According to Gaijin, you lose energy through the three type of pursuits. Add always. You feel free to stop the the video and check out the the controls if for your preference. And I recommend that you go to for a test drive and test it for yourself. Okay. Roll sensitivity through to the yaw sensitivity is 50%, which is my preference, by the way. You can put it up or down according to your preference. Thrust vectoring, it is preferable. Again, uh, the throttle is right stick up down. I do the equal or minus. Enable axis is 0. It's not. I put it there just for how you say that. For just caution. It's like precautionary thing, or caution for a caution. If there's something wrong, I can adjust that, but I don't need it anymore. So here it goes. Remove binding. How it those new. Okay, well, cool. Dead zone is 05. Key value of disabled axis, which is the rudder, throttle, and whatnot. Non-linearity is 1. Relative control is yes, 30%. 15 relative control step, which is not ideal, but I mean the step is uh, disgusting in this game, but it's better than nothing. Multiplier is 1, which is good. Correction is 0. Now, here's the invert y-axis for the aircraft that we saw it here. It's here, yes. So here it's no. If it's in the pitch, it's no. If it's turned towards no in the pitch axis window, you put it yes here. So you pull the stick towards you, the nose goes up, as aviation does. Ignite boosters, which is K for kinetic. I don't know why I put it there. Toggle flaps is the same as default. Toggle air brake, default. Toggle gear, which is landing gear, default. We comes to the brake. That's my. Um, you see sometimes in streams or people go for the burner, flat full burner AP, and start rolling as they don't start rolling as they pick up the throttle. or open up the throttle. So I choose this, double tap on B. I don't know why it's double tap. It should be one tap, but that's guiding for us. Increase value, decrease value. That's mean release, and then relative control. And you need to hold it. You don't need to hold the button itself, but it's gonna hold it for you until you press or double tap the V, which is velocity. I remember stuff like that. So brake, and then velocity start to you need you start to pick up velocity. That's how I feel. It's not release because R on the keyboard I use it for reset trim. Relative control sensitivity 100, step is 50, multiplier is 1, correction is 0. Okay, so the same goes for the left and right brake. You don't need any discrepancies between those two. Okay, drag shoot is S, and that's also the supercharger controller for prop prop engines. Okay, now let's go down. Where's that? Weaponry, it's the same. It's default. So if you see it differently, just add from small caliber, large caliber guns, additional guns, all is R2. You need to shoot everything. Especially nowadays, there's something called RNG, random number generator, for this game. So you need to shoot everything and make sure that you hit your target well. That's not assigned because I don't need it. Open bomb bay door is E. I don't know why I put it E, but I think I run out of keyboard selection. Uh, Drop bomb, which is one bomb, is D. Drop bomb series is always R1, which is the default. I took it from here, put it there. If I need to drop one bomb, I use D on the keyboard, which is not usable. Especially according to Gaijin, the 2000 pounder, it's around 250 or 500 max pounders, the equivalence of 500 pounder, which is disgusting. Fire rocket, you don't need that. Why you need salvos always. So I go for salvos because the rockets are weak, and you need as much rocket as possible on the target because you're in a dive situation or you're diving in or pitch down attitude. Fire air to ground missile L1, which is the same. Left one button or L bomber. It could be usable on Xbox. See the equivalent of the button on Xbox or the pad that you're using for PC, and it is usable, feasible, and usable. Weapon lock, air to air, which is down button. Uh, Gaijin just put it like X sometimes, and L1. I don't know why it's still L1 because L1 is launch, right? Launch. I put it as launch. It still open up the weapon lock or search. Should be like search. Exit selected weapon. I didn't use that because that's not feasible if you're maneuvering in sim, especially you're maneuvering and you want to switch up and down unless you have a thrust master or uh, a Logitech joystick, which is useful. It's gonna be useful here. I don't. I already had my weapons figured it out. So secondary, you don't need that. Ripple quantity. Flares. It's X or cross button. Periodic flares. Uh, it's not it's not working for some bizarre reason, but it's on the numpad nonetheless. Your access for aimed weapons. I don't know how you're gonna see where's your weapon going while you're maneuvering and you launched a bullpup, for instance, or a Shrek. We don't have any Shrek here yet, but how the heck you gonna spot your target and spot the missile path as well maneuvering your own plane? That's not feasible. Pitch axis, weapon aiming. Uh, Same. Switch radar on off, which is numpad 1. You can pick it up as you go. If you had a keyboard, you can put your preference. That's my preference. I should go from the left to right. Every panel, I go from left to right, as in English. I start from left on the numpad to right. Okay, except ignition, I go from right to left. It's complicated in my mind, but in the control layout, it's easy. You can pick it up. It's point of preference. Okay, so on off is one. Zen. Okay, I said Zen. That's okay in Arabic. My apologies. Change radar mode, subtract or subtract. That's the mode for search or lock, which is I don't know why they put it. Uh, the mod is here, which is disgusting. This mode is disgusting because I can pick my target and always picks the friendly targets in front of me. I mean, they put friendlies as a target, which is disgusting. Change radar search mode. Add. It's like if you want to go from, let's say, wide scan, which is it should be like the scan scale, like track scan. TSW, something called TSW. If you want to go TSW, you switch. It should be like addressed, but it's it's useless. Basically, the radar here in this game, it tells the opponents where you are. That's it. Okay. Change radar scope scale, which is on the scope. Okay, yep. It's numpad 0, which is you put it whatever you want, whatever you need. Preference also. Select radar target to lock, divide, which is again should I had the star or multiply to choose the target back. We're back to the point number one. If there's a friendly in front of you, it's gonna pick the friendly. It will not pick the target. The target will know there's some kind of radar beaming towards him. Spiked him. He's gonna be spiked. Nevertheless, you search or to lock mode. If you switch between search or lock mode, the target will know there's something spiked him. But to you, there's nothing there. There's only friendly, which is disgusting, by the way. Lock radar target on, multiply. If you want to pick a target, you use that. Lock radar target on. So if there's multiple targets in front of you, if you want to pick one and switch, you put this button. This button will change targets, which is only work against AI for some bizarre reason. If there's a friendly between you and that target or multiple targets, it always lock on him first and last and second. I don't know why. That's something guys you need to work on. They would they had a lot of problems. Reload guns on it's useless because whatever. It's gonna give you 5 seconds on the runway and then start reloading for some bizarre reason. Tiger ballistic computer, which is if you got a ballistic computer on your aircraft, you you pick this uh, um, access. So you put it's not an access. It's a button binding. If you want to bind something for ballistic computer, you use you choose this one. I choose number 7, which is again to the right hand side, turning on something. If I want to switch it, I go to the left for M. So if I want to switch side mode for let's say rocket, no, first hit it's uh, gun on ground targets. The second hit is rocket. The third hit is bombs. If you got all that payload on your plane, it should be like put with the ripple. Let's see here. Let's go back here. For instance, if you want to switch weapons, select exit or switch primary weapons to secondary or whatnot, you should put it at as the same as this uh, uh, what do you call it option. So you put if you want to switch to rockets, you go M primary weapons you switch. Also, you switch your ballistic computer sighting, which is useful for some situations. Anywho, let's go on. Switch mission bombing target. That's not working. Active target point, not working. Deactivate, not working because every single time I pick a target, especially in the Phantom, the British one, I guess. No, the American one. There's something bizarre happened with my bombing site. The bombs won't release it. No permission. I don't know why. Okay. Gunner aim and control axis. The same default. You can pick it up from here. Pause the game. Check it out. Where's where is it? The same. Choose joystick axis. Always add. No, there's no add here. Invert y axis. You don't need that. Toggle view. It's the same. Triangle. Uh, Semicolon is the aim mode. If you want to aim, let's say, uh, it's not working, but if you want to go aiming uh, for camera, especially, it's not working. But I tried to put it there to test it, and I left it there. But it's not feasible. It's just you need to use the the weaponry options and figure it out there, and then try to figure out the aim mode, which is I don't think it's working in simulator, maybe in realistic. Okay, tracking or aiming axis, not assigned. We don't need that. I don't need that. Zoom axis, which is in the cockpit. Okay, you pick it up here. Not assigned, but it's U for up close. Decrease values, which is J, because they are close to each other, and I remember them that way. Uh, Relative control, yes, 60%, and that's it. Okay. Next up, view in battle. That's the Achilles heel. There was a channel back in the day. Gate Gnomes had it like in relative control. So as soon as he looked back, he kept. If he released the button or the stick, he's always looking at the target or looking at the last position of the target if he's doing a barrel roll, which is I don't agree with, but that's his option. His channel now is deleted for some bias situation between a famous guy and non-famous guy as Gate Gnomes. Okay, the same for the y-axis, forward and backward, which is you go front or back on the camera. It's like if you want to go forward a little bit so you can spot something, there's a pylon in front of your face. Forward, it's up and down on the D-pad. Keyboard one, not the the gamepad one. Okay, head movement, upward, downward, L2 button plus L3 button, but it's not. I don't know why they put it that way. So, for instance, I want to go heads up. It's like I'm raising my head. I use L2 button and R3. The stick. I push the stick up. The opposite selection is heads up. My head is raised. I'm lowering it. Okay. Triangle button to reset that axis. Relative control, of course. Always add. If there's an add, uh, uh, if there's an add or cancel or replace, you choose always add. Upward, downward, that we explained. The most important thing, especially if you're flying a Phantom or you're flying a plane, there's no rear visibilities like IL-2. You use left and right on the pad, the keyboard pad. So here's the selection if you need it. Okay, what else? The trim. The trim is always, I use it for damage control. I don't use trim while maneuvering, which is uh, advised not to. I advise you not to use trim while maneuvering. So if you're gonna maneuver, you always reset the trim and then start maneuvering. It's a cross button. I'm thinking of changing the cross button. Let's see. So cross button and cross and up. That's increase. Cross and down. That's decrease. The elevator one. Okay. Dead zone. Relative control. You see that? The same here. Aileron is like left. The cross button and left, which is or right, depending on the angle that you need some lift or counter on, especially if you're damaged. Rudder the same. Rudder, I use the rudder as the stick I'm using for roll. So for instance I lost right aileron and some pieces of my wing, so I use cross button and uh, left stick left or left stick right. Yeah, left stick left, because you're losing left towards the right wing, so you need to balance that up with the rudder and aileron. So you do that. Add, of course, manual engine control. Controls mod. It's O, open. Engine is to ignite the engine. Mixture is not working. It's useless, which is the mixture. We all know mixture. Prop pitch, it was useful. Let's see it. P plus 1. P plus 1 is to increase. P plus 2 to decrease. Relative control 50%. Okay. Auto prop pitch. You don't need that. Either you go auto or manual, and it's useless. It's useless nowadays. Back in the day, it was so useful that you can carry a lot of ordnance and a lot of weight on your planes. And for instance, the P-47, and use prop pitch with the supercharger turned up or turned down. You can gain some altitude pretty quickly. But they changed it, they nerfed it. It's useless nowadays. Radiator up next or prior. Uh, you can put it whatever you want. 1 second. So increase is open up the radiator. Decrease is closing up the radiator. It's not working. Most of the planes now it doesn't work. You will overheat, especially in the EC4. That's what makes me hate EC4 or prop or World War II planes. Relative controls, yes. It works with some planes. Most of the planes don't work. Okay, all radiator is also. It works maybe in the P-38, and the Thunderbolt, the P-47, I guess. But it's useless also, especially if you're flying a B-17. That's useless. RPM, turbocharger, if you had a turbocharger. Supercharger, you cycle through first gear, second gear, and third gear. Sometimes you start from the third to second to first. Okay, next magneto. uh, Back in the days, if I lost an engine, I can or there's an engine that hit, I can restart that engine mid-air. But nowadays it will not start. Toggle prop feathering, which is if you're gliding, there's no engine power. That is useful. It basically, in real life, prop feathering is a safety measure, so the prop don't didn't stop spinning faster and faster, and then the the blades start to lose, or start to launch at the start launch on the cockpit or the fuselage empennage and hit people inside and shred the plane up to pieces. That's bad back in the day, but here in War Thunder, nope, it's for drag purposes. From engine 1 through 6, every single engine you can lock the controls off and open. For instance, you put all engine control. You should first open the engine control mod and then start picking up the engine that you need to start or restart or feather or uh, extinguish the fire on, especially in prop. Okay, that's it for airplanes. Now let's go for the helicopter.